Hi everyone, I'm Ariane Japan, your MC for this session. When we think about data engineering, we often picture efficiency, scale, and automation. But behind every pipeline lies a deeper question. Whose voices are represented, whose privacy is protected, and whose power is reinforced. As speaker, Yashasvi Mishra is a software engineer at Pure Storage and a passionate advocate for ethical tech. Through her work modernizing data systems and mentoring women in tech, she has championed transparency, accountability, and care in engineering practices. In her talk Feminist Pipelines: Engineering Accountability into Your Data Stack, Mishra will show us how feminist principles like consent, equity, and transparency can transform the way we design data pipelines, turning routine ETL work into systems that not only function but do good. Please join me in welcoming Yashasvi Mishra.
Hi everyone, a very welcome to all of you at PyLadiesCon 2025, and it's a pleasure for me to be here today. So today we'll be having a look at the feminist pipelines engineering accountability in your data stack. So whenever you think of pipelines, we generally think of Airflow DAGs or data frames moving from raw to clean to warehouse, right? But I'm here today to discuss something even more deeper on how we can make our data pipelines responsible and make sure that they themselves reflect these values. They do not just move the data, but they move responsibly and they know who they are affecting and how they are affecting. So, this talk is going to be about engineering accountability, not just as an afterthought, but as a part of our technical craft. Here's a little intro about me. Hello, everyone. I'm Yashasvi Mishra, currently a software engineer at Pure Storage India, longtime Pythonista, and an open source contributor. In my free time, I love to mentor folks in tech and also advocate for diversity and inclusion. It is here from where my passion for building responsible tech comes because I certainly believe building tech is fun, but building trustworthy tech is even better. Before getting started with the session, here is our agenda for today. First, we have a look at how data has moral weight, what is responsible or feminist data engineering, when the pipelines can actually cause harm, a framework for trustworthy pipelines, and we will be diving deeper into each of those pillars: advocacy and accountability, small acts with big impact, and closing with how can you build AI that you trust. With this, we come to the first topic of the day: data has moral weight. Let me ask you all a question: whose data is this, and who does it serve? You can answer this question to yourself based on the project that you have currently worked on or might have recently taken. Let me tell you what I got to know after I answered this question based on my experience till date. Every ETL code out there is a moral decision and not just a technical one. With each line of code that you are collecting, dropping, and anonymizing data, you are every time making an ethical choice, even if nobody is telling you that. Take, for example, the schema that you inherited from yesterday. Do you know all the fields that came along with it? No, right? But you should be knowing the fields that you actually care about. And that is where the moral gap comes, not a technical detail. Because in this age, data is power, and with power comes responsibility. Now we come to the core idea of our session today, that is feminist data engineering. Calling engineering like data engineering feminist, I do not mean to exclude anybody or anything. But what I mean is that data engineering with utmost care, transparency, and equity. Because technical choice carries moral weight. And from the very book of my data feminism, here are a few of the principles that I make sure to implement in my work daily. First and foremost thing is to examine the power of which areas of the system tend to have an edge over the others and then balance it out. Rethinking binaries and hierarchies, using which we can actually question defaults in the system. Making the labor visible behind the collecting and the cleaning of data, making sure to give credit wherever it's due. Embracing pluralism, making sure that we value multiple thoughts, voices, and opinions that come along with the data. And we prioritize consent and context before collecting the data, making sure that we do not actually collect data without someone else's consent, without the consent of the people whose data is about. So we can actually say that feminist data engineering is not just moving data, it's moving data responsibly. Let's have a look at what we usually optimize for and what we could. So we traditionally focus on speed, scale, and efficiency when it comes to measuring success. But a feminist reframe asks us a question of how about using context, consent, and accountability as the metrics for success. Instead of having throughput KPIs, why not have trust and impact KPIs, which ask those questions of whether that particular risk was mitigated, whether the user intent was taken care of. This can actually help us to give meaning to efficiency, what ethics can actually do. And that is what I have done. Alongside each of the traditional focus that we usually go for, I have given a feminist reframe. Let's have a look at when do pipelines cause harm. Now, here are a few examples for the same. Stratfor's heat map exposed exposed a lot of secret military bases. Few facial recognition apps have misidentified Black and brown people. And health apps previously have shared user data without their consent. Now, none of the teams out here, like the ones behind these projects, have set out to harm anybody. It's just that they did not design their systems for accountability. And that is what kind of tells us that our engineering oversight today can lead to someone else's lived consequence tomorrow. Let's take a look at the framework that we will be needing to operationalizing our feminist data engineering. And here are the four main pillars that we will be discussing in detail in the upcoming slides. First one being minimize, then comes consent and transparency, followed by anonymize and protect, and audit and document. So we come here with the first one, that is minimize. Here we go by the motto of collect less and care more. With this motto, what we do is that we have basically this general misconception, right? That more the data, the better the model performance. But what we miss out on is that the data quality is what matters and actually drives the positive model performance. So we need to make sure that we ingest only those fields that are required. And whatever field is being ingested in the model has a very important purpose to that model. What happens is that with this, we'll be reducing legal risks, ethical risks, and storage risks. We are basically not exposing our data to any legal problems, right? And here's how I've implemented in the code itself. What I'm doing here is that I create a synthetic data set along with fields like age, income, credit score. And after pre-processing the data, what I do is that I drop the columns that are not required and make sure whatever column is being included has some kind of importance to the model and it's not just there. Now we come to consent and transparency. Now, consent and transparency is something that does not need to be buried under the weight of terms and conditions. I mean, just let me know like how many of you actually read it. No, right? We just click on the box and we go forward. So it's important to make the consent visible by recording the consent version and timestamp. Now, what happens with this single line of code doing this is that you are making the data accountable of the person it is representing. And with this, we also expose the data provenance to in our dashboards to help out the analysts who are driving and actually making decisions on that very data that is actually going to go forward and will form financial decisions or any kind of enterprise decision. Here's how I've implemented it in the code itself. And you can see that how I like we'll be basically picking a user and then we play around with the consent. We rerun the gate to demonstrate the propagation once we revoke that content, and then we simulate that revocation again. I have basically I'll be sharing the Google Colab notebook in which I have implemented all of these techniques in detail, and you can have a look. So with this, we come to the third pillar, that is anonymize and protect. Here we go with this motto of privacy by default. And we use Python's hashlib to create reversible hashes for emails and IDs. We pseudonymize and synthesize the data using Faker and PyArrow as well. And you can see that here. You can see that we are using hash tokens for our emails and IDs. And we also have the other pillars as well in this code block right here about consent, minimize, and audit as well. We come to the final pillar of audit and document. It's very important for us to make sure that our pipeline is telling the truth about itself. And how do we make sure about that? We make sure that everything is logged right from the data source to the data transformation. The data provenance docs are auto-generated, and we store the metadata along with each ETL run. Now, what happens that with all this detail, once we have documented and with us, if anything breaks in the future or in the production, it becomes very easy for us to revisit back and see what could have caused the problem, rather than actually, looking into the dark and it being very difficult for us to actually troubleshoot the errors. And here is the code doing that as well. As you can see that we record the provenance and have the basic risk reduction metrics. Now comes integrating ethics into our workflows. And ethics can be auto-integrated in the workflows as well. How do we do it? Here are the tools and the techniques for the same. Pandas for schema filtering, Faker for anonymized test data, Prefect NiFi for auditable pipelines, and Markdown or dbt docs for provenance. So yeah, with these, you can actually automate the ethics integration into your workflows. Now let's talk about the hard part, that is advocacy. We all know that writing code is not hard. Building a culture is hard. Whenever it comes to ethics, people generally toss it off by saying, oh, we'll do it tomorrow, or we can take care of this later. They think of ethics that it's just a nice to have metric. Rather than we need to actually shift how our teams are thinking about ethics. Otherwise, they're not going to take it seriously. We need to reframe the ethical choices as risk reduction, regulatory readiness, user trust, and need to make it very clear that how ethics is going to influence decisions up, down, and sideways. So yeah, it's important that we not just reframe ethics, but we also educate our teams to understand the consequences that if ethics are not implemented can be, and make sure that we have ethics very much within the deadlines completed. Now, a revolution does not, basically, a change does not have to be a massive revolution. It can be small steps every time, which can build on a very large impact. Like few of the small steps right here: documenting your schema, dropping any unnecessary field, questioning why the column exists in your model, and teaching your team about data provenance. Trust me, these small steps today are going to lay the foundations of a big impact tomorrow. With this, I come to the closing slide of building pipelines that care. So, we have been repeating this throughout the session that feminist data engineering doesn't just move data, they move responsibly. And they certainly do, because when they are building pipeline, they are doing it with care, context, and accountability. A lot of times, our work is the visual representation of who we are. So, let's not make data pipelines which are just successful in production, but are also successful in principle. Thank you so much for having me here today and giving me the chance to present on this topic. I hope that today I was able to shift your thought process in case of ethics and trustworthy tech, and you'll be implementing it sooner in all of your projects. Thank you.
Wow, that's mind blowing. Mishra just reminded us that data pipelines are not neutral. They carry values, choices, and consequences. So, by embedding transparency, consent, and care into our workflows, we can build systems that respect people as much as they process data. So, thank you, Mishra, for inspiring us to see engineering as a space for accountability. And thank you all for being part of PilotDiscount 2025.